The microphone is now on, folks. We did it. I'm sure there's already 100 chats telling me my mic was turned off for a total of 3 seconds. But such is life. And also such is life is the depression chamber. That's right, folks. It's back. What you've been waiting for years now. Everybody's favorite underground Mumkey show. The Depression Chamber. Let's get the music playing. Is that gonna be loud? I don't know. I just took the Elliot Rodgers sad music and put it on loop. If you don't know, this is a show where the fans at home, just like you, everyday men and, I was going to say women, but mostly men, send in their experiences with depression, suicide, and all other mental illnesses as well, I have to assume. And I just sit here and read them to you. I'm mute. Thanks, Afro Hat. I appreciate it. So, I mean, there's really no better way to jump into this than just to open up a story. As always, if you would like to submit your depression stories, you can send them to mumkeyjones@gmail.com. But let's get started. Oh no, Bionicle Forever also says I'm muted. That's right, this is an ASMR stream. Because I'm going to be talking like this the whole time. You know, depression is a funny thing. What kind of Twitch mod is gonna tell me this isn't ASMR? It's beautiful. Blacked and white. Let's jump in. I'm gonna keep these stories anonymous, but perhaps I'll say the gender if it's relevant. And this first one, Billy Red Snake, thank you for subscribing. This first one is actually from a female, folks. Can you believe it? Probably some sort of troll. But let's jump into it. This is a fucking giant paragraph. She did not bother to break these up into logical paragraphs. It's one giant story from hell. Here we go. I'm going to try not to interject and interrupt their story too much. But as donations and shit come in, I mean, there's only so much I can do. All right. Well, to start this off, I usually don't do this kind of stuff, but why the fuck not? I'm going to try to write this all in one go with no revisions, otherwise it's a greater chance I won't even send this. So sorry for any grammar mistakes along with me messing up the wording. My story isn't the saddest, nor the most fucked up, but it's still something, right? It helps that nobody I know would watch your live streams, so they wouldn't recognize anything small that might tip them off, that they know me and call me out for being a whiny bitch. I'm hoping maybe hearing you read it will make my life feel more validated and real. Also, I ramble a lot when it comes to this stuff, since I'm not very clear and concise with emotional things as I am with other things, so it's probably going to be way too long and repetitive. I'm sorry in advance. I will have to tell a little about my sister for me to make sense. So to start things off, when I was still in daycare and kindergarten, my sister was in middle school. She was dealing with depression and major suicidal tendencies. She would self-harm a lot and super duper deep. Later on, this depth was my limit. I never reached anything close to it, but I knew not to go farther than that. It honestly, a miracle she didn't hit a vein in her legs, nor did I when I picked this up years on down the line. She had no other outlets though. I didn't know that her depression would affect me so much, not even that much later on. In essence, as soon as my child brain could grasp the concept enough, I would try to help her, which dragged me into getting thrown into her anger fits more and being hurt physically way more, which caused me to become consumed in sadness. I remember that I ended up begging her, one friend, to help me dump her blades. She pulled out of many pencil sharpeners into this pond in front of my house. I was only a little kid, probably 6 or 7 at the time. I was trying to get her to stop. As grew up, I felt the same sadness and feeling of being lost. She had take hold of me very quickly at my super young age. I started losing my spark and will to live, and that evolved into me a few years later, laying at night and would wonder why I couldn't just die in my sleep since I hated being alive. But I have always felt like my mental issues are wrong, and I shouldn't have them since my sister was the one who went through the shit, not me. I had experienced some bullying at school, and some abuse from her and my dad who had anger issues at the time, but it was nothing compared to what she had been through. It's made me feel like I was weak and should have died when I fell into the pool as an experiment to see if I would die or not, to see if death was obtainable. You know the saying, curiosity killed the cat. In that case, I was curious and it almost killed me. Yes, I was a dumb child, and yes, I'm a dumb fuck now. But even though I was 8 years younger than my sister, I still wanted to protect her, and I forced myself to grow up fast to match her maturity level, since she saw me as just a stupid child, which I can't blame her for, but she would therefore shut me out and dismiss me. Becoming more mature was a very easily achieved goal for me, especially since my dad forced it on me so much to be independent at a super young age. At least it caused her friends to like my company. And at least they usually still do, even if they haven't met me before, since I act usually more mature than her and her friends. I was pretty much her way to release anger. I didn't mind because it helped her get better, but sometimes anybody who even slightly mimicked the movements she made then will cause me to flinch. My parents would usually ignore me unless she locked me out of our shared room late at night, which was a common ordeal. When I did have my own room before, we used mine for boxes as we packed up to leave, which felt like it was a couple-month process. I was pretty much on my own to build forts and stuff. I didn't have friends and haven't ever had true friends except one person, but we don't talk since I am now homeschooled. I was sheltered from kids at my age at home, and always have been. And anytime I was just starting to settle in, we moved again. We have now moved 8 or 9 times for pretty much no reason other than my dad chasing opportunities that he shouldn't have, and that ended up causing more issues. I just don't trust people, nor do I want people to see me. It frustrates me that it's ingrained in me to always hide, since sometimes I want to reach out. I want to meet new people and hear their stories, but I just can't do it. Anytime I watch anything, let's take your live streams for example, no matter how badly I want to comment something, I can't bring myself to, out of a rational fear of being put out there. Hell, if I even send this email, let alone you possibly read it, it's a fucking miracle. This stupid mental shit I've been dealing with has only been getting worse. Of course my family doesn't care. Damn, that sounds whiny as fuck, yet again this whole thing I wrote does. But at least depression does run in the family. I guess since my grandfather ended up killing himself. So I have that excuse to why I have mental issues. My parents don't believe in mental illnesses even after this happened. They are super quick to blame his wife for causing the death, although she didn't do shit. I blame their extremely intense, borderline, if not completely toxic, Christian upbringing. Hell, my dad says the Bible holds the answer to how to cure my problems. No, it doesn't. That's bullshit. My sister is much better and has been for a very long time, but I'm not. I'd much rather have it be me dealing with it than her. I have self-harmed in the past, using her method of a pencil sharpener blade. The reason I tried to was because I remember my sister doing it, and I thought I'd help along with my boyfriend at the time saying I should. It only helped on the days I couldn't tell if I was alive or dead or dreaming. The only snag with that method of grounding myself was once I started, it became a couple-hour-long process, although I could lock myself up in my room all day, every day, with no care. If I didn't do that for a couple months, I fell into this dream state that nothing was real. My boyfriend at the time would try to find anything that would make me want to self-harm, or would pretend he would hurt himself or attempt suicide just to get a reaction out of me. I don't know what I saw in him or why I was with him on and off for 2 fucking years. Around that time, the guidance counselor somehow caught wind of me self-harming. I blame that ex, and the counselor told my mom. My mom told her to never contact me again and yelled at me for talking to people about it and made me say I wouldn't tell anybody about my fake mental issues, according to her. For me, it feels real, but maybe I made it up. A few weeks later, I was given a knife. Kinda dumb, but I was stoked at the time. After that, I've been in a few shitty relationships and friendships almost as toxic as it was with my ex, so I've sworn off trusting anybody. I'm now homeschooled since my mom was sick and tired of picking me up so much from school after it let out since I was crying or didn't want to ride the hour-and-a-half bus ride home, crying the whole ride while the kids would try to mess with me. My mom doesn't let me leave the house to see my old friends, and only 2 of my old friends still talk to me, but that's super rare. I haven't left this house other than the store or testing for homeschooling in months. A part of me likes being alone and isolated. It's basically just me and my mom now since my dad is never home since he works so much, but it's always been like that. The other part of me wants this to end. The other side of me wants to have people I can trust to be around and for me to get myself out of my negative mental cycle. I'm just alone and too scared to show myself anywhere. I cry every night wishing to find the courage to finally end it, while also happy I haven't ended it yet, since it means I can one day get out of this shit and experience life in a positive light. But I don't know if I can find the strength. I know I'm not alone with how I feel, in the grand scheme of things, but I am in my small bubble. I have days where I'm numb, others where I hold a sad heaviness in my heart that makes it feel like my body is just going to stop. Stop breathing, stop beating, stop living. Every night when the distractions of life are gone, I lie awake at night crying or wishing to die. If it's an especially bad night, it's both. My sister has moved out and trying to distance herself from our family as much as possible. But I guess I don't need friends or people to help me with my stupid mental issues. I'll find my own way out, whether it ends in living or dying, I'll find a way. Maybe I'll continue trying to help others to try to fix mine, even though it doesn't work like that. This is way too long already, but that's my stupid whiny story. I'm sorry you read all that stupid shit. Was my mic blocking my beautiful face that entire time? Wow, what a way to begin the depression chamber. How old are these? This one came in 4 days ago. I'm reading them in order of newest to oldest because the oldest ones are like 2 years old, and those people are probably no longer around to see their venting affect other people in the chat. Well, maybe one day my microphone will face me. Okay. Good enough. Do you ever feel depressed while reading these? Keaton Walsh, that's my secret, Captain. I'm always depressed. It's not like these make me feel better. Not really. Can we submit emails during the stream? Go ahead. Email them to mumkeyjones@gmail.com. Those people are probably no longer around. Yeah, probably could have phrased that better, but I stand by the statement. Thanks for ruining your sleep schedule. Well, I don't know where you live. It's only 7:30 here. All right. I'm not here to solve anybody's problems. I'm not here to try to give advice when I can't even fix my own issues. I'm just here to let people vent and read out their stories to an audience, and that's it. All right, next story. Hi, you sick fucks. You can all call me by my screen name, Marichel Pericles. I have a sad story to tell, and maybe a help scream. And it is called My Depressive Life. The year was 2014. My grandpa had died the year before. In that year, I lost my great aunt and was really sad. At school, I were trying to make new friends since 2013, but every time I tried to talk to the cool kids, which were super social, they would make fun of my face, call me weirdo, and etc. One time in the history class, they even built a social pyramid of the class and put them at the top, others at the middle, some others excluded at the slave, and me as the slave shit. Then in 2014, I passed through with everyone calling me a weirdo every time. Next year, I kept trying to make friends because I was lonely as fuck. With that, trying to get woman and a lot of group projects to make. But with no friends, it became a real issue, even for the teacher who had to put me in different group, but they would mock the hell out of me, and I would do anything afraid of failing, then failing at school. Had one time, they even took a game of rock, paper, scissors in front of all class to decide who wasn't working with me, and the teacher laughing too. But I endured all that because I was lonely and thought, if this is what I have to pass through to be with other people, so it will be. But at a point, I just couldn't handle anymore, and mixed with all the bad grades at school, I had just decided to kill myself. That night, I took a bunch of pills and went to sleep. But in the way of bed, my mom woke and we had a chat. I cried thinking that this was the last moment with my mom and passed out crying. The next day, my pressure was super low and I passed out in the middle of the class and slept in the table until the whole school day ended. I decided that I wouldn't give a fuck anymore and would stay alone for the rest of the school, and I did so, until last year my family broke up. My parents divorced, my dad was unemployed still, and I was fucked from the head. Started taking depression medication, which just increased until now. And now I finally graduated and am unemployed, and my dad is passing through depression, and I'm afraid he might kill himself. This was/is the story of my fucked up life. Fun fact, at a point I planned to write a manifesto of my point of view about the world, send it to Mumkey and kill myself, but he managed to be banned from YouTube, and that would have been meaningless. Thank you. Farewell. I don't think I'm the guy to hold the responsibility of obtaining anybody's suicide note. If you find yourself in a similar position to Marichel Pericles here, and you think your one last hurrah will be writing up a manifesto and sending it to me before death, you can't expect me to ever actually get around to reading it. A lot of these emails for the Depression Chamber have remained unopened for years. So if you want to get your final words out there to the universe, I'd recommend sending it to perhaps friends and family. Don't send it to me. It will not be acknowledged until long after you're gone, if even ever. Skumkey said I already sent you a few of mine. I don't see any new ones in here. Rip that guy. No, he's probably still alive. That was only 5 days ago. Rip Boogie? Oh no. Did Boogie submit one and then kill himself? That's pretty sad. You should make this a weekly thing, my guy. I mean, I'll do it as often as the people demand it. Alright. Oh my god, this one is 10 pages long. Fuck, let's talk to the chat a little bit more before I jump into one that's gonna take half an hour. Oh god, Sheepover's typing in the chat as me. Don't read it? No, I have to read it. I can't skip it because it's too long. Please no more of these. This kind of sucks. Cheese sticks, you can feel free to leave. It will not hurt my feelings at all. Do you think we're in the middle of a mental health crisis? A lot of our youth these days seem to have really fucked up problems, or maybe it's just social media making us more aware. I think it's both. I think we're more aware of it because now everybody does have access to the internet where they can vent anonymously or even publicly as themselves. And also, studies have proven that social media does make us more depressed. So these two things are building on each other and making everything a lot more sad for everybody. And it really fucking sucks. Mumkey has a good voice for falling asleep to in a good way. Maybe I should read these as Jumpkey. It would be very respectful of everybody's sadness. You thought the depression chamber was just a fucking joke? XD, wow. Okay, start the song over. Here we go. Whew. It's gonna take a while. I'm not sure if you care if I change people's names for anonymity or not, but I did just in case. This is also really long. I understand if you don't want to read it. Early signs. I've always been an obsessive, clingy piece of shit. Even back when I was an innocent child. When I was 8 years old, I played the game Free Realms. I was friends with these two girls on there. They did this roleplay thing where they and me, after they met me, were part of this clan called the Shadow Tribe, and our enemy was, I'm assuming fictional, a clan called the Light Tribe. I did that with them for a while. Then one day, I pissed them off while they were trying to do some celebration thingy. They both blocked me. What did I do? I made tons of alt accounts to try and beg them for forgiveness. I made one of them change their name to avoid me, and ultimately I just stopped playing because at that point everyone else I talked to in Free Realms had stopped playing. In either 2011 or 2012, I was playing RuneScape. I befriended this alleged real-life couple, and we chatted while cutting trees and catching fish and such. One day, I made a joke that made the guy mad. It basically consisted of me asking if he'd rather spend eternity alone in heaven or eternity in hell with one person of their choice and who he would choose. Of course, he said hell with his girlfriend so they could be together. I, as a joke, said that I would choose hell with him so he would suffer. With no hesitation, I was blocked. The girl did not block me, and they had a clan chat and a YouTube channel. I pestered the girl, fellow members of the clan chat, and got banned from it. I commented on their YouTube channel and got blocked, and even had a friend of mine message them and comment on their YouTube channel on my behalf. Those two instances are just setting the stage for all the unhealthy obsessive behaviors I've exhibited since then. I've always, since preschool, preferred talking to and being friends with girls, so naturally I sat with a girl on the bus in 5th grade. 5th grade was my first year in middle school, meaning all the elementary kids were gone and I could have a pick of where I sat. I moved to the school in 4th grade and pretty much spent that year cycling through sitting with annoying 2nd graders I always wanted to punch. The girl I sat with in 5th grade was named Sarah. She was the 3rd person off the bus, so I didn't really get any time to speak with her. We had this inside joke where she'd shout hobos and good for you at each other. There was never really anything common between us aside from her vaguely mentioning one time that she liked Nickelback, I unironically like Nickelback, and both of us liking Minecraft. We had a substitute bus driver for the first few months of the school year. Then on October 26, 2012, he came back and moved the seats around. Luckily, Sarah was just in the seat behind me, but I sat there and I felt sad. I was on the bus for an hour, and during that hour I started crying. I realized that I had romantic feelings for her. I spent from then until right before Christmas break trying to convince myself to ask her out. Even back then, before I became depressed, I assumed she'd say no, but it was worth a try. On December 20, 2012, I asked her out, and she said she'd think about it. She decided to stay home for the apocalypse, and after that was Christmas break. After Christmas break, the buses and shit were reworked because the school had a budget cut. She was unable to ride because she didn't get on with her legal guardians, but when we had inside recess during cold, snowy, rainy days, we were in the same room. She never got back to me about that. Looking back nearly 6 years later, I'm certain that was just her polite way of saying no. On January 31st, 2013, I asked her out again because I thought maybe she forgot. She didn't say anything and instead just stared at me for a minute, and then it was time to go to lunch. I knew that was a no. After that, she refused to talk to me. I guess she was uncomfortable around me. Rather than being a rational human being, I spent more than a year begging her to talk to me and be my friend and be my girlfriend. There were periods in which she talked to me, followed by her, I'm assuming, being on her period and not wanting to deal with me and her distancing herself from me and me taking that as her ignoring me. Actually, the reason she talked to me again at all was because on October 4, 2013, I gave her a note that was an apology / begging for friendship thing that her and her friend thought was a suicide note. After the second instance of her not wanting to talk to me due to, I'm assuming, her period, which was early December, she never talked to me again. In early 6th grade, commit reverse Ambrosis, some sad boy hours here. Thank you, Singed Eric. In early 6th grade, her friends were on my side and tried to help me, but they eventually realized I was a piece of shit and just using them and stopped, which is understandable. I decided in late February 2014 I was going to take a jug of bleach and walk to her grandparents' house and drink it on their porch to make her feel bad. I had no intention of dying, I just wanted to guilt her into loving me. I am a complete fucking piece of shit, I know. On March 2nd, 2014, I had an alarm set for 6:30 a.m. just after my mom left for work. I woke up, put on a jacket, grabbed a battery-powered alarm clock, and put it in my jacket pocket for some reason, grabbed a can of Dr. Pepper to drown out the bleach taste after consuming it, and of course, I grabbed the bleach and I carried it under my jacket. It was cold out. There was freezing rain. I'm not even halfway done with this email, so I won't bore you with the details of the walk over there. But the walk to Sarah's grandparents' house to drink the bleach was the most atmospheric, most exhilarating experience of my life. I have legitimate nostalgia for that journey. It was so fucking exciting, and nothing has come close since then. To sum up my time at her grandparents' house, I took a swig at exactly 7:30, thanks alarm clock. I freaked out because it hurt and the Dr. Pepper did nothing to help me. I knocked on the door and her grandparents came. They called an ambulance and gave me some milk. I threw up in their toilet a few times and then I left in the ambulance. Sarah was not there. Looking back on this event for the last nearly 5 years, I've always been glad she wasn't there. I don't know how I even thought this would go well for me. Anyway, I wound up in a psych ward for like 2 weeks. When I got out, I found out that Sarah was moving. I tried going hardcore obsessive on her, but the principal told me to stay away from her. The teachers were probably told to keep me away from her. The bus driver, in 6th grade, the budget cut bullshit got fixed, moved me to the front of the bus since I wouldn't leave her alone. When she moved, I made a fake Facebook account, added a bunch of her friends as well as her. Then I made several accounts under my name and harassed her, begging for friendship and love and forgiveness. Her parents contacted my mom and threatened to call the cops if I didn't leave her alone. Back to the psych ward. After that, and before my second psych ward trip, I was put in therapy. I never really learned anything from it and spent a year in it. I eventually managed to fake my way out of going. In that time, I befriended the next, and current as of when I'm writing this, obsession. After Sarah moved away, the bus driver let me have my old seat back. I heard 2 girls on my bus talking about anime. I had 0 friends who watched anime. I moved back to talk to them. One of them is named Ashley. The other was some high school girl who isn't relevant. Ashley was in the same grade as me. I talked to Ashley and the other lady for the latter part of the school year. Then, during the summer between 6th and 7th grade, I had a great mental conflict. Should I just hope that one day Sarah will have a change of heart? Or should I pursue this Ashley lady? I had Ashley added on the fake Facebook account. I had Sarah and a bunch of her friends added. I sent her a message saying, "Hey, this is my name. Add me on Skype and talk to me. I need to talk to you. I'm really sad and need someone to talk to." Those weren't the exact words, but she unfriended the account. She did not block it. This is very relevant for like 4 years in the future. Seventh grade started, and I apologized for the creepy message I sent her. She didn't seem to care, and we talked for a few weeks. I planned to wait until December to ask her out. That didn't happen. On September 15th, 2014, this is the last specific date from any of this shit that I remember pretty much. I asked Ashley out. She said no, which I expected. I asked if we could still be friends. She said yes. I went home and cried, but I was not completely defeated. I still had hope. Note, as I'm writing this, I'm just thinking about how I would kill to go back to just this point and start from there. I wish I could go back to right after she rejected me and just start from there. I don't give a shit about any of the shit before Ashley. I only put it to explain in greater detail how much of a disgusting piece of human filth I am. Everything wasn't completely fucked yet with her, and I could have still somehow, some way managed to get something with her if I hadn't been such a fuck-up. Maybe I could at least be friends with her if I could just restart from right there. Let's continue. After that, we got a week out for the local fair. Then, when we came back, she wasn't interested in talking for a few days, which sent me into panic mode. Luckily, she talked to me once in early October, which only delayed the inevitable. But then, a few weeks later, after her having not talked to me since that time I just mentioned, I started begging her to talk to me. I cried and begged and all sorts of stuff. I'd normally stop once she shouted at me. In mid-November, she had another conversation with me, but not again until sometime in May. In between then, it was a lot of begging and her crying. They were legitimate tears of sadness and not just me trying to make her feel bad. I did also say things to try to guilt her into it. In this time, I had heard about her and one of her close male friends having mutual feelings for each other, but Ashley not wanting a relationship. I heard about them kissing, though, and to this day, it sends my fucking inner Elliot Rodger into overdrive when I think about it. I still hate this guy with all of my being 4 years later. I had no clue who Elliot Rodger was until like late 2015, though, but that's irrelevant. The conversation in May was just awkward and left me sad. Then summer came and the most devastating trope to my love life was born. I became friends with this girl named Rachel. I contacted her because she was friends with Ashley and tried to get Rachel to get Ashley to talk to me. Rachel tried and failed, and I left her alone about it until August 2015 when I decided to talk to Rachel. I had been stalking her Facebook for all of summer. Rachel was, and still is here in 2018, this cute emo girl who liked video games. We talked for like a month on Facebook. That month had very detailed, in-depth conversations where we discussed things and tried getting to know each other, and we sent each other memes. After that month, maybe 2 months, the conversations became stale. I didn't realize how bad the conversations were until looking back on them years later. Despite this, I spent the first half of 8th grade not bothering Ashley at all. I kind of knew this, but pretended it wasn't so because her Facebook profile didn't say this, but Rachel had a boyfriend. When I was certain, without a shred of doubt left that she had a boyfriend, I went to Ashley, who luckily got assigned the seat across from me on the bus. We were supposed to pick them, but she wasn't there on the day that we picked them, so she was given a random one. And apologized and asked to be friends and said I'd try to be better. I was better, actually, from late January until the beginning of April. I was better. I'd asked to talk. She'd say no. I'd say, okay, have a nice day. Every day. One day, though, I begged her for an hour on the bus. Normally, we were on there for like 20 minutes, and Ashley gets off literally right before me. But today, we had to go a different way because of a wreck or some shit, and we were the last ones off. The next day, I asked if she was willing to talk. I was always very careful to say, "Are you willing to speak?" rather than ask if she wanted to, even though I'm certain it made no difference in her answer. And either out of fear or pity or something, she said yes. I had one more conversation with her in 8th grade after that. One thing I did that I am completely ashamed of, but my future actions would lead people to not think that, is one day I was begging her to talk to me, and I said, "Do you enjoy making me feel like shit?" And that, along with all the other harassment I had already done, made her cry. Nobody would ever actually believe that I feel guilty for it, since I've spent years since doing similar things, but I've always hated myself for that. Another regrettable thing I did was at the end of the year. I asked Rachel to ask Ashley to talk to me one last time before the school year ended. Rachel said, and I quote from memory, "Ashley doesn't like? I'm so sorry I had to burst your bubble, but someone had to do it." And blocked communication with me. Though me and Rachel hadn't talked much in recent months, I was devastated by this because I did genuinely value her. But by continuing to pursue Ashley during my freshman year of high school, there's no way I could have been friends with her again. Over the years, I've spent nights lying in bed and reading my old messages with her and crying at my 8th grade cringing at my 8th grade self and my lack of conversational skills, which I still lack, and crying because I missed being friends with her. I get attached to people way too quickly and cannot stand losing people I'm close to. Omegle is the worst website to exist, behind YouTube, of course, wink wink. Between 6th and 7th grade, I lost my best friend because he didn't like how annoying I was and the Sarah and Ashley bullshit going on in my mind. Rachel actually blocked me on the day of retribution in 2016. I forgot to mention that. The first half of my freshman year was my most successful period with Ashley. After convincing her to talk to me on my birthday, September 14th, I had 1 or 2 conversations with her a month in October and November 2016. In December, I don't think I had a conversation with her, which brought back out the obsession. The main thing that pushed me over was the day before Christmas break, she refused to let me tell her Merry Christmas. When she got off the bus, she wouldn't even look at me or anything. She just stood up and left. It sounds dumb for me to get that worked up over that, but the thing is, doing little things like holding a door for her and saying "Have a nice day" bring me legitimate happiness, and her not letting me say Merry Christmas fucking destroyed me. Every day I had with Ashley afterward involved me begging her to talk to me and her eventually giving in. I remember one morning I asked her for just 10 minutes to talk, and she set a timer on her phone for 10 minutes, and I whined like a baby until she turned it off, and we ended up talking for like 30, which she seemed unamused throughout the entirety of. The only time I recall her willingly talking to me was one afternoon after we took exams. In 2017, I did something retarded. On Discord, one of my friends had been sending the story in chat that was basically written like a play, but with no names before, so it was really hard to follow along with unless you were paying attention. I decided to make a text channel and post my own variation. His story took place in the future where he was a murderer who went around in a Mickey Mouse mask and murdered people with dildos. I decided to make a modern day me kidnap Ashley and force her to cuddle with me. That is no exaggeration. There was nothing sexual about it. I know nobody will believe that, but I don't care. At this time, I put Ashley on such a high pedestal that if I were walking behind her and I glanced at her butt, I would get the urge to cry. I couldn't have possibly written a story about doing anything sexual with her. A friend of hers was on the server, though. He was a friend of a few of my friends, so he was on here. He told her about it. It being a parody of the Mickey murder story doesn't justify it. I wish it did, but it doesn't. The part that upset me the most was the way she called me out on it. She asked me if I had written any stories lately on a morning I had been pestering her. I enjoy writing little stories and shit, and she knew that, so I thought she was trying to have a legitimate conversation. I excitedly started telling her about this thing I had been writing, but then she cut me off and told me that a friend, I knew exactly which one, had told her about the kidnapping story. From that point, my tiny bit of hope was gone. In the beginning of May 2017, I made a promise to her I knew I wouldn't keep. I told her I'd leave her alone and find someone else. I mainly did it so I could see her smile for a minute, because I hardly ever got to see her smile when she was around me because I'm a stalker piece of shit. The Friday before we got out of school, I was nearly crying and I just said, "Hey, how are you?" She said, "I'm all right." I said good and then gave a big long apology over bothering her. Then that Monday, May 22nd, 2017, I spoke to Ashley for the last time. I asked if she'd talk since I wouldn't be able to see her until August. She agreed and we talked. It was all right. As with most conversations with her, I wanted to cry after it was done because I knew she'd never love me. A lot of them, this one included, I did cry after. August came when I got on the bus. Ashley was sitting 3 seats back from the bus driver. I knew if I sat across from her and started bothering her, the bus driver would notice, so I sat much further back. This was where everything died for me pretty much. I had no way of speaking to her now aside from lunch, but her friends would have either beaten the shit out of me or gone off on me or both. I wouldn't want to get in a fight with her friends because I don't want to hurt any of them. I hate them because they get to spend time with her and I don't, but I don't want to hurt them. Then the next wave of Rachel's came. At the end of September, beginning of October, this girl started sitting at our lunch table because she overheard our conversations and liked our edgy humor. This was actually around the time I found the Mumkey Jones YouTube channel after some girl had mentioned Elliot Rodger when in my government class. We were discussing what to do if there's a school shooting. I had already known about Elliot, but I had pretty much forgotten about him until this girl said his name, and I had this sudden urge to look up shit about him, and here we are. At least something good came out of all this shit. The girl at our lunch table started dating one guy who I grew envious of, not because I wanted the girl, but simply because he had a girlfriend when we used to be depression buddies and talk and complain to each other about being lonely. They broke up in December, and now the girl is dating one of my other friends, and their 1-year anniversary is the beginning of January, so congratulations to them, I guess. Back to this shit, though. One day, I got home from school and was taking a shit. Then this girl named Erica, who I had known in middle school and hated, sent me a Hitler meme. We started talking. She's bi and used to be hardcore obsessed with Ashley as well, so we talked about her a lot. We became best friends, but I've never dated or anything because she had a boyfriend. It's become a cycle with us where we get super close and talk about dating, but something happens with her and her relationship, and it gets better with her and the guy she's with, or I'm hesitant to get with her and she finds a new boyfriend, and then I get mad and distance myself from her. Overall, Erica is my best friend, though. I can tell her literally anything, and she won't get upset/judge me for it. She's even tried getting Ashley to talk to me to no avail. My friends compare us to the Columbine kids. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure, which is why I substituted her real name with Erica. One Saturday morning, Erica woke me up with a messenger notification saying she needed to tell me something, but I had to keep it a secret because she wasn't supposed to know, and I definitely wasn't supposed to know. Ashley had a girlfriend. That meant that all the things I had been hearing slightly from eavesdropping on her friends were true, but not in the way I thought. I thought Ashley and her friends were discussing sexual things Ashley had done with a guy, but instead they were discussing things she had done with a girl. It all made sense now that one day on the bus Ashley shouted, "It was gross and wet," was in reference to her girlfriend's vagina and all sorts of other things I had heard Ashley's friends discussing in this class I had with them that Ashley wasn't a part of. I'd rather her do sexual shit with a girl than with a guy because I don't even know why. I guess it's just because I think men are disgusting and women are better, and so I can cling on to that tiny desire to be Ashley's first something. Ashley and her girlfriend broke up in like April, but knowing they were together, I don't even know who her girlfriend was, that girl goes to another school, angers me and saddens me, and I want to fucking die, knowing that one day on the bus I faintly heard Ashley and her friend discussing what Ashley was going to do for that girl that night, and knowing I wasn't just overreacting to things, I could only partially hear, and that she was really with someone. I kept my composure for most of this, but I'm actually crying as I type this now. If Erica were smart, she would have told me Ashley was gay. But when I asked, Erica informed that Ashley is bi, which means that my nanoscopic chance to be with her is still there. Fast forward to the end of May 2018, this is where that fake account I added all of Sarah's friends on 4 years earlier became relevant. I had been saving it for years to use as a last-ditch effort with her. I typed up a big, psychotic rant to her and sent it to her. She saw it immediately and told me she'd talk to me before the school year was over, but Ashley fucking lied. She never did, and she blocked it a few days later. She got her license over the summer and hasn't ridden the bus all year, so I'm never going to get to talk to her again. In art class, I fucking hate art class, this girl started sitting next to me essentially because one day we started joking about wanting to kill ourselves. She's cute and nice and we get along, but she has a fucking boyfriend. There's also some other girl I texted for a bit before my art buddy came along, and she has a boyfriend too. And I can't stand looking at my friends and thinking, I really hope this thing that makes you happy ends up going away so I can have a chance to be happy. Rachel and I are actually sort of friends now too. I have no idea if she's in a relationship, nor do I want to ask. She's in one of my classes and she sits by me since one of our mutual friends sits by me. I can't talk to Rachel outside of school though. She doesn't have me added on anything, and once again, I don't want to ask. I also have no goals or ambitions in life. I don't want to go to college. There's no job I want. I have no hobbies that I could realistically turn into careers, nor the motivation to do so. I don't even have the motivation to do my hobbies for fun. And once something becomes work, any fun that was there to begin with is gone for me. I want to make music, not music to sell, but simply music to have and be like, oh hey, I made a song. Bonus points if it doesn't sound like total ass. But I refuse to learn how to play guitar or sing or anything because it's too much effort. I have an entire folder with song lyrics in it because that's all I know how to do, write shitty poems that I can imagine how they'd sound set to music, but lacking the drive to do it. I have friends who could help. I have a friend who plays bass. I have a friend who plays guitar if I'm too much of a lazy fuckwad to bother to learn. I just don't want to inconvenience them by asking them to help me make shitty music where I either talk about how I hate my life, hate certain people in my life, or can't get a girlfriend. My 3 most common lyrical themes. I'm not sure if they'd even want to help. I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do when May of 2020 comes. And I graduate. I don't even have my license or anything. My dad's been pestering me for the last nearly 2 years about getting my temps and getting my license. I haven't even considered it. The only goal I really have in life is to be in a relationship with someone I love and who at least pretends to love me back. I'm basically just an obsessive, psychotic stalker piece of shit. I'm manipulative and emotionally abusive. I use people to get what I want. The people in this who have wronged me, the guy who kissed Ashley, Ashley's ex-girlfriend, and the guy who told her about the kidnapping story, are all people I wish were dead. I wouldn't kill them, but if something happened to them and they died, I'd be more happy than I would sad. I'm just all around a piece of shit human being. One of Ashley's friends is actually convinced that Ashley is just blowing everything out of proportion and that I'm not as bad as Ashley claims. She came to that conclusion on her own. I think she's wrong and that I really am as bad as Ashley says, and if I'm not actually as bad as she claims, I might as well be. But I guess I haven't murdered anyone like Elliot or beaten anyone like Asperger, so I'm not completely gone and could still redeem myself. But speaking of Asperger, when I think of me, I think of Asperger, not in situation or personality traits necessarily, but in general worthlessness and patheticness, and that kind of scares me. He's the most relatable person I've ever found on YouTube. Ever since like 8th grade, I've been saying if I don't kill myself after high school, I'm gonna become an alcoholic. So far, the only deterrent I've had from that is what the fat retard did to his girlfriend. He did actually give me some good advice, though. The thing he talked about in the Sonic Adventure Let's Play, where he'd count to 3 and jump in the pool every day, was good. I basically used that for things that are sort of similar, but instead I listened to a song that's like 4 or 5 minutes long to give myself to prepare, and then I do it as it ends. This is probably what I'm going to do before sending this email, since I'm always super nervous when I send people personal shit. I know I gave essentially my whole life story from age 8 to 17, and I'm sorry for wasting your time with this if you read it. The main thing that bothers me is just that literally every single fucking time I meet a girl and our friendship develops naturally rather than me sitting down next to them like, hi, we're friends now, or messaging them on Messenger or Snapchat or whatever with essentially the same shit, they're already in a relationship. I can't tell that to any of my friends because the only ones I'm comfortable with talking about super personal shit like that with are my female friends. Anyway, I love you, Mumkey, in the absolute gayest way possible. Thank you for taking the time to read my retarded little sad rant. If you never read this, still thank you for all the entertaining content. Take care, pal. Wow, that took us half an hour to read, and every single second was worth it. It's a lot to take in, folks. Not even sure the proper way to react other than that was an amazing story. Every single twist and turn was fantastic. Honestly, Guy, the advice I would give you is take your life experiences, take your feelings of anguish, regret, pain, guilt, all of that, everything you just told us about in the email, and convert that into a fictional story, sort of like I did with the Triflers. You take your teenage angst and depression and anguish, and you apply those feelings and those experiences to fictional characters. It's very therapeutic, and then you have created a piece of art that a lot of people will probably really enjoy. If the 293 people listening right now, I guess 294 including me, if we all were enthralled and really moved by your real life story, just imagine the thousands of people you could entertain and move and affect on an emotional level if you adapted your thoughts and feelings and experiences into perhaps a novel. And you're not a bad writer. It was mostly very easy to read that. It flowed very well. I think you have the skills. You say you don't really have any hobbies that you want to pursue. Maybe this is one to consider, because I would love to read more from you. And it looks like a lot of the people in the chat are agreeing. They say that they would love to read your book. That's what I would say. I would also say, you're in 11th grade right now. I think everybody regrets the person they were in 11th grade. We were all cringy. It sounds like you are next level cringe, and you're really gonna regret it as an adult, but just know that the person you are today is not the person you will be in 5 years. Look forward to the fact that you will regret the person you are right now. And clearly you have the self-awareness to regret who you were 4 years ago. But no, you're going to change as a person. You're going to mature. And these things that you obsess over now, you'll probably look back on and think, why the fuck did I even care? Why would I obsess over a 13-year-old girl? 13-year-old girls aren't even human. Nobody who is still in high school or middle school is even a human. And I sincerely mean that. Even you. Nobody in school is a human. You are underdeveloped. You are not living yet. Just wait. You're all a bunch of moldable pieces of disgusting clay that has not been shaped into a human and dried out. It's just a gross mush. Do not obsess over a gross piece of mush. Don't even give a fuck about relationships yet. Do you know how many people I talked to from high school? I think maybe one. And that's on perhaps a biannual basis. It means nothing. It means nothing. Don't care about the socialization aspects of high school because it means literally nothing. Find the things that make you happy outside of social relationships and pursue those. You like music? Listen to music. Keep writing your poetry. Maybe write a book. Have friendships, but don't become obsessed with romantic relationships because you're not in love with a person. None of you are people yet. You have to understand that. I know it doesn't sound right, but it's true. It is true. Alrighty, I missed that donation. I'm sorry. I'll pull that up before we go to the next story. I would like to add, never relate with joyful. If I could go back in time, I'd kill my 11th grade self, Jesus Mumkey. Thanks for reminding me that he was real. Yeah, it's true. I am very much a different person from who I was when I was 16 and 17. And I hate the person I was. If I had to hang out with that person, I would want to leave. I would want to get the fuck away. Asperger got censored? What, in the donation? Oh, I would like to add never relate with Asperger. Okay. That makes more sense. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Billy Redsnake. All right. Well, oh my god, another long one. Let's see if anything can possibly top that previous story. I doubt it, but it's what we're here to try. All right, here we go. Well, we've already been going an hour, and we've only done 3 emails. Email number 4. I've honestly been doing a lot better over the last 6 months, but lately, over the past few weeks, it's all coming back. I think it's because I have no way of having any form of social interaction IRL, and it's getting to me again. I was always pretty happy up until middle school. My mother is great and a perfect parent. My dad, not so much. He never talked to me for most of my life, and the times he did was when I was being punished, when he either scolded or beat me. I can't really remember any of what he punished me for, except that it was probably deserved. Stuff like vomiting on my brother's floor, or making a mess, or getting into an argument, or whatever. So I've always been terrified of my father, and I'm not exaggerating that. Whenever my mom told me I had to ask him something and not her, I'd be scared out of my mind and cry. But anyways, it never really got bad until middle school. That's when I started to make online friends. When I was 12 to 13, I played Minecraft all the time with some of my school friends and met some people through servers. My father, who always strictly monitored my computer use, tracked my history, told me he used a program that detected everything I said online, scheduled my computer to shut off and not let me back on at certain times, was pissed at this, especially when he found out I was using Skype, and pretty much lost his shit. For the longest time, he berated me if I did anything even slightly wrong, called me a retard all the time, and even yelled at me in public for the smallest things. My mother never said anything about it and always agreed with him. He eventually confronted me about the whole Skype thing, and finding out that my friends were older guys, called me a slut and threatened to tell the whole school and all my friends about everything, and said all my friends would hate me and a bunch of shit like that. Ever since then, I've never been the same. Maybe it took a bit longer than just a day to shut down my mind and all, but I can't really remember anything from then. All I know is that for the next year or so, I stopped talking to everyone, online or offline, completely isolated myself, lost any type of social skills I had, and just stayed in bed all day watching dumb pirated TV shows and anime, whatever I could do to pass the time. That wasn't really the worst of it. I was only 13 at that point. After that, I ended up realizing that I'm transgender. That sounds like some retarded SJW shit, but puberty really fucked me up, and everything felt wrong and uncomfortable. Between that and being completely incapable of talking to anyone and making any friends, I really fucked my life up. At least in high school, I was able to make some more friends online, except they were all a bunch of fucking drama queens, the SJW type, and stirred up a whole bunch of shit with our own friend group. Instead of trying to stick with the friends I actually liked the most, I tried to appease everyone since I'm desperate to have anyone to talk to, and pretty much everyone ended up hating me for it. I still talk to some of them that didn't bully me, but they're all a lot younger than me, 15 to 16 right now, so it's weird. And they don't really like me now that I'm actually showing my real personality. At school, I wasn't too good either. I went to some rich kid's school for my freshman year, but my parents divorced and I moved in with my mother, obviously. We moved out to a more rural area, so for the rest of high school, I went to some trashy farm school. At the first school, I hung out at lunch with some of my old friends from middle school. Not really, though. Half the time I wouldn't be able to find them, and I'd just sit alone and cry the entire time. I don't get why I was such a pussy, but I'm not joking. Something between my fucked up parents and the whole gender issue gave me terrible anxiety. Every little thing would scare the shit out of me to the point where I would just hyperventilate and cry. Once someone approached me when I was alone at lunch and tried talking to me. I assumed they were trying to make fun of me, and I started crying and ran away and hid behind a building. At the next school, it was slightly better at first. I joined an anime club, so I at least had somewhere to go at lunch besides the library. At first, everyone wanted to talk to me since they never get transfers, but after that, no one really cared anymore, and it became a repeat of the last year. Except I didn't even have the chance of running into an old friend. So I decided to try being out as a tranny, and at least then I wouldn't be judged as much. Except I was too scared to even do that, so everyone just thought I was a butch lesbian or some shit. At some point, I figured the only way I could make my body look less feminine was by starving myself so I couldn't have a fucked up fat distribution. Because then I wouldn't have any fat at all. That was a complete mess, and it took me fucking ages to get over it. I have no idea how my parents didn't notice since I got to under 80 pounds, but I guess they never really cared anyways. Along with the anxiety and anorexia shit, I obviously had depression. I wanted so bad to starve myself to the point where I'd just die. I almost succeeded, honestly. I've gone without food for over 5 days, but my mother would always eventually have a day off of work where she'd inevitably have me eat at least one meal. I've cut myself and tried to take a knife to my throat and just get it over with, but I always got too scared and pussied out or had a panic attack. Never had a rope or a gun, but if I did, I'm sure I'd be dead by now. At school, everyone thought I was an autist. I never talked because I absolutely hated my voice and I was too terrified of fucking up and being yelled at or hated. I guess that's enough to make everyone think you're just too retarded to think for yourself. Some people would talk to me out of pity, but most never really saw me as a person. Senior year is when stuff started to get better. Not only until the second semester, but not until the second semester. I went back to the furry fandom and made some friends that lived a few hours away. I got to meet one of them at a convention, which was just about the best time of my life. I had a friend I could actually talk to, who I got to spend 2 whole days with having a normal conversation. I also came out to my mother, and I got to start hormone therapy. A year ago from then, I told her that I needed to start getting regular therapy, but without really telling her why. It took her ages to actually get me anything, and I was given Lexapro, but it never really helped. But starting on hormones really saved my life more than anything else. It hasn't even changed too much physically besides my voice, but I'm not really sure how to explain it. I'm just so much more confident now that my hormone levels are balanced out the way they're meant to be, and people generally see me as the correct gender. That sounds dumb, but I can't really explain why it feels that way. It's like trying to explain anxiety, I guess. It's just another mental illness. But despite that recovery, it's now been about 5 months after all that, and I feel terrible again. Nothing like what I felt before. But everything feels pointless. My family clearly doesn't accept me as a guy. I'm so ridiculously short, I look like I'm 10, and I can never change that. I don't have any IRL friends for support, just my 2 furry friends who I only see a couple times a year, and we meet up to celebrate. Not to whine about sad shit like this, but I'm not going to burden everyone else with my tranny problems. But apart from my furry friends, no one who knows me thinks I'm a guy. I don't really care what they think, and I'm not going to harp on them for being unsupportive or not using different pronouns. But I don't understand why this even had to happen. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I'm missing out on so much. The best way I've seen it described is that my boyhood is empty. My childhood memories of what I did with my family, it all feels so wrong, and that I never got to experience what I was meant to experience. And because of that, it feels like I'll never get to live a normal life. I could always go back to living as a girl, but I would rather kill myself than ever do that. If I go forward and continue living as a guy, I'm probably missing out on too many experiences, so I don't even understand how to correctly be a guy. There's nowhere where I belong. My only choice is to continue on, but what if I don't fit in? I'll just be a loner again, and I can't stand the thought of that. I was supposed to go to college this year, but I fucked up my applications, so now I'm living at home doing nothing. I don't have my driver's license because I was too anxious and scared to do anything as a teenager. I've never had a job for the same reason, and now I'm too scared of running into anyone I knew from high school to get a job locally. I've missed out on so much due to mental illness, and that combined with the gender issue is enough to make me feel completely ostracized and alone. The clear solution is just to kill myself, but I can't do that. I just got a boa to at least have someone for comfort, and he's gonna live a good 30 years, so I have to be there for him. I'm sorry, this must have been a total mess to read. I'm terrible at English, and I'm sure you can't relate to a lot of the gender stuff. I doubt you'll even read it at all, let alone all of it, so whatever. Thanks for having your email open to stuff like this. So, we have a mentally ill, transgender, furry folks. That's the big 3. Sometimes you get the big 2. Sometimes you just get a big 1. But we're dealing with the big 3 here, folks. It's rough. That's a rough one. Shut the fuck up, Tomas. Alright, I think we have a joke one, folks. Perhaps this joke one will provide the levity we all need. I know you're watching. I know this guy's in the chat right now. He just sent this in. Hey, Mumkey. My name is George. In 2014, I started a podcast. Thank you, Lou. In 2014, I started a podcast with my friend and colleague in comedy. It was fun at first, but it got toxic really fast. Him and the audio engineer would always make fun of me. They kept finding ways to rig the voting by trying to get me to watch a movie I didn't want to watch. Every week I would put some good, salty snacks out, and they never thanked me for it. Not even once, dude. Then, him and I went to a wedding, and he left with my ex-girlfriend. Can you believe that? We had only been broken up for 4 years at the time. I had another girlfriend by then, but I hadn't moved on yet. He drove her home drunk while she had a DUI, so I decided to end the podcast and start my own. I tried to warn everyone how awful my ex-co-host is, but most don't believe me. He got kicked from his comedy shows, which was nice, but none of the fans of the podcast believe me. He also started his own podcast, and he's constantly slandering me because he has nothing else to talk about. He's taking all my fans. They all listen to his show and not mine. I tried to hijack the old podcast's RSS feed to get more people listening to mine, but it didn't work. I'm running out of money, and I don't know what to do. I can't put ads on my website. I need to maintain my integrity. I tried to write another book, but that flopped too. I tried to be more PC because that's what people want. I tried to disavow my old book to show that I've changed and grown and that I'm an LGBT ally. How could that not work? My African-American supermodel girlfriend just left me too. I don't know how else I'm supposed to support myself. I think about ending it every day. Can we hear about that audio engineer fucker? He sounded like a real asshole. Come on, Mike. You can do it, Mike. Schwan. Oh boy, we got a bunch of new ones popping up. I guess I'll go through the new ones since these people are probably here. Oh, God. Hey! Look! Look here! Look! Listen! Going offline does not fucking stop it! Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out. Here's another joke email. Hello, my name is Asperger. I have been depressed for 5 years now, and a few days ago I got drunk, like really drunk, and I read A Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It really inspired me to hit my girlfriend, and she really got really bruised, like really bruised. From Asperger. Wow, you're ruining the integrity of my serious depression program. Big ups, Liquid Richard. Shout out, Sean Ranklin. That's right. All right, all right. No more of these joke ones. Okay. New, real-looking email, folks. Real-looking email. Hey, Mumkey, I'm watching the stream with a friend, so shout that out, but don't say my name. He will know But yeah, another year without my main man. I'm gonna just tell my depression story now. The email is mumkeyjones@gmail.com. Pretty hard to fuck up. I had a relatively normal childhood, but when I was in 6th grade or so, I met this girl who I really liked. I wanted to be her friend so bad, and I didn't know why. The thing was, she fucking hated me. She was super classy and preppy, like wore a dress every day and shit. And I was low-class scum. I was also a autistic little spurg, while she was like super smart and classy. But anyways, she wouldn't tolerate me at all, and I had to give her all of my lunch for her to talk to me at all. Eventually, I bought my way into her friendship, and she told me she had a boyfriend. Then the school year ended, and we never talked again. Life went on, and I still thought about her a lot. I later realized that was love. She was the only person I knew who was actually interesting and developed as a person, and why I was so sad. I moved on and had a pretty normal life in school as a small boy. Then in 9th grade, she came back to school. I went crazy, stared at her all the time in class, and made myself even more awkward just trying to be around her. I felt like I could relate to her about everything, even feeling madly for someone who doesn't like you. She felt exactly like I did for her about some preppy asshole, and told me all about it. Ugh. I got more and more depressed all the time, every waking moment being miserable, except for when I could be around or see her. Several times I spilled my guts and confessed some bullshit to her, or yelled at her for not talking to me. I was bipolar, and just a giant dick to her and made her feel bad, and I felt bad all the time. I feel like really similar to that one guy with the Ashley girl, just crazy and obsessed. At this time, I started listening to Asperger's music and relating to it. She was all I cared about, and I was crazy. But then in 10th-ish grade, I started playing video games, CSGO in particular. This took my mind to other things. The real thing that helped me was when she started talking to me again. A long time after, I had agreed to never talk to her. She gave me another chance. We started talking a bit, and we got along really well. She's very interesting and creative, and I'm kind of slow in terms of thinking, so we're happy to just have her sit and tell me all about herself. But then I started feeling the same way again and decided to cut it off again for her good. Eventually in 11th grade, after literally blocking her out of my head as much as I could, going nah 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 in my head and shit till my thoughts moved on, I started talking to her again. She's a fucking famous blogger now, by the way. She has 50,000 followers on Tumblr. And I'm really happy to have her in my life just in terms of having, like, a like-minded friend who can talk to me. And I really have moved on, but, like, I'm a really emotionally driven person, and that one emotion was gone now. I felt nothing. Complete apathy. And that was around the same time one of my best friends shot himself in the fucking head. The worst part of that was I didn't even feel sad. Just nothing. I spent all of my time playing games and watching YouTube. Nowadays, I only have one friend. The friend group fell apart even after my dude got better. Yeah, he's fine now, minus a few specks of brain matter, but I never hang out with them anymore. Our D&D game stopped, and that was, like, all I had going for me socially. By the way, that story kind of ends here. I want to create or just be good at something, but I still have nothing to fill the void of that obsession. When that was gone, nothing came in to replace it. I want to draw and make music, but all I do is watch your shitty YouTube videos and play video games I hate. Fuck CSGO, it makes me so mad. This mindless pacifism has become my norm. I don't do shit, and I'm just kinda drifting through life with no drive. I wanted to make a video for your film competitions, but then didn't and watched YouTube instead. Every day is consciously doing nothing and wishing that I was doing something. I can't even explain to anyone what that feeling is like, except shitty, I guess. Sorry if it sounds dumb, but what is your take on that, Mumkey? By the way, fun fact, when I was planning out that video, I went to some random bleach blonde-haired Asian kid in a different grade, just from looks asked him if he's a Mumkey fan, and he said he was, and I don't know how I knew that, but the guess was right. I was gonna have him play a school shooter in a movie where it's like Groundhog Day, and the guy shoots up his school over and over till he eventually decides not to. But yeah, see ya. Shout out to that dude. What is Ashley doing to all these people? Yeah, when they coined the term Stacy, they really should have said Ashley, shouldn't they have? These Ashleys, they're nothing but trouble. Never trust an Ashley, folks. She'll fuck with your head. She'll make you do things you regret for years to come. This is quality ASMR. Thank you, Tomas. Thank you so much. You should do one of these when you're at the brink of blackout drunk. Alright, lots of fucking joke ones coming in. It's been about an hour and a half, but we still have a good number of people listening in, so I guess we should keep going. So I'll just go to the next one. When I was in 6th grade, about 4 years ago, my mom left. Apparently, she was having an affair with a guy who worked with her. She left with him when my father came to her work early. I think she forgot something. When my dad pulled into the parking lot, a lady pulled out a phone and called my mom and told her that my dad was there. My dad, thinking this is suspicious, walked in and asked to talk to my mother. The workers there told him she left with that guy. My dad, heartbroken, left her work and came to pick up me and my 3 other siblings from school, fearing she would take us kids and he would never see us again. After my dad picked us up and drove off, I kept asking him why he got us out early when we have finally gotten home and told us our mom left. I felt horrible, and an emotion I later found out is called depression. Now fast forward to last year, 9th grade, to when my depression was the worst. Last year was the worst I've ever felt. I couldn't find any happiness and pretty much walked around numb to the world, hoping I would die. I would come home and just sleep all day. Then about 9 o'clock when I would get home, I would eat dinner, or as much as I could, and watch YouTube. YouTube was one of the only things that made me feel any emotions. Then after I ate, I would just go back to sleep crying. Then about March or April, I was planning my suicide. I was gonna overdose and just fucking kill myself. But luckily, my friends started realizing my jokes about suicide weren't jokes. They told the counselor, and she ended up calling my mother, who's fucking back in my life, who started bawling. After that, my mom called my father, and they made me go to therapy, and it helped. He, my therapist, helped me, and he helped me realize I shouldn't kill myself. But now, a year later, I'm back to square one. My father's kidneys are dying, and I don't know what to do. He has a high chance of passing away, and then I'll be stuck with the bitch that broke his heart and our family. It also doesn't help that money is tight, and that whore isn't trying to help him at all. He's stuck working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day while she stays home and sits on the couch. I don't know what to do. I feel like it's my fault my dad is dying. It also doesn't help that my family hates me for being gay. My dad is the only one who helps me. Thanks for listening, if you read this. Is it just me? Or is the common theme of these emails depression onset by females, folks? You got the Ashleys of the world who don't love you and make you depressed. Maybe you used to be a girl, but now you want to be a boy. And the female part of you is tormenting your soul. Even your own mother can be a cheating whore that destroys your family. Could it be? Is there some sort of correlation, folks, between women and depression? Could it be? Could it be? It's a real... Ooh, really gets your noggin jogging, folks. Activates those almonds. Not to say it's the women's fault, but what is it about all these guys, even the gay ones, like in this last email? Why are we letting women have such control over our emotional state? Is it the way we were raised? Has society convinced us in some way that getting a woman's love and perhaps obedience perhaps might be the path to happiness? Did society ingrain these thoughts within us? And when our female desires don't come true, we're tormented by thoughts of suicide and loneliness, worthlessness, relating to Asperger-ness. Horrible things, folks. Who is at fault here? Who is causing all this pain? Every woman in the house, please grab a broom. And don't you dare talk back before I bust a womb, as my friend Asperger might say. Well, what do you say, chat? Should we do one more or move on to the now traditional Brad Dassey ending of each Mumkey stream? It's up to you. Also, any girls in the chat, if you would like to cure a lonely boy's depression, please let it be known in the chat. I'm sure there's a lot of lonely, depressed boys waiting for your love, folks. Would not be the first time true love was found in the Mumkey community. Let it be known. Lonely boys, reach out in the chat. Girls who want to cure depression, reach out in the chat. We can help each other. Do it. Girls, trust me, you will not regret posting in the Mumkey chat room. I will be your GF. Just email me. You will not regret that. Only good things will come for you. What about lonely, depressed girls? Does not exist. Come on. Who are we kidding? Don't post an emoji of Kenna. I'm a lonely 14-year-old. Please send nudes. I'm only half kidding, folks. Don't worry. Don't worry. Depression is nobody's fault. It just seems a lot of people feel depressed because of their perceived failures with women. Perhaps we should teach men and women. You're not gonna want to hear this. Perhaps we should teach young men not to value women so fucking much, folks. Would have saved Elliot Rodger. Would have saved pretty much every email submission we read today. Stop valuing these romantic relationships with women so fucking much. Especially when you're in high school, man. What the fuck are you doing? I get it. Those feelings of love popping up in your brain, it's like a drug. But no hit is as powerful as the first one. The first time you get high, it's gonna fuck you up way more than any other time you get high. You're so young that these first feelings of attraction and love and romance, they feel so real and so powerful, but it's fucking bullshit. You have to understand, and you have to use all of the logical parts of your brain. Eat a lot of Szechuan sauce, watch a lot of Rick and Morty. You really need to boost the logical portion of your brain to overpower the emotional part. I'm not saying you can outthink depression, but you can outthink this irrational affection and love you desire when you are fucking 14, folks. Believe you me. No 14-year-old love is real. It's your brain going fucking crazy. And you would save yourself a lot of completely unnecessary heartbreak. And perhaps even some unnecessary feelings of depression and loneliness if you just realized you're 14. You're not even a person. You don't need a date. Go play more fucking Minecraft. It'll do you a lot more good than what holding a girl's hand at a movie? What the fuck do you do when you're 14? It means nothing. Stop. Date when you're in college. High school, just have some fucking fun. The rest of your life will be filled with emotional turmoil from dating. Can't you at least spend your teenage years having some fucking fun? I wish I never dated anybody in high school. It was all fucking pointless. Michael says, you have a girlfriend, you lost the right to lead the incels. Incels rise up. My college years, I was in the same boat as these people. For the majority of my 4 years of college, did not have a girlfriend, did not have friends, did not talk to anybody, just went to classes, did all my schoolwork, got my straight A's, and went home, and eventually started just making YouTube videos. And yeah, I felt a lot of fucking loneliness and pain, and had my own embarrassing brushes with suicide at that time. And now that I look back, it's like, why? Why did I care to date those fucking idiots? Teenagers are so stupid. Why even put my value in their hands? They're not responsible enough with it. They can't be, because they're so young and immature and frankly just stupid. But I don't know. I only got a girlfriend because I got a bunch of followers on a YouTube channel. If it wasn't for the Mumkey shit, who knows what boat I would be in. I would probably still be on the SS incel. Yeah, so maybe I can't speak too much. I only got out of it through something that only happens to perhaps 0.001% of people. Yeah, bitch, show up, catty cat. I'm not here to give advice. I shouldn't be trying to give advice. I'm no expert. I'm just here to let people vent. Yeah, Sheepover is packing up now that YouTube's gone. Unfortunately, I think we co-signed this house, so she's probably packing up my stuff to make me leave. Yeah, great advice. You're probably all being sarcastic. Fuck off. Yeah, here's the advice. You want to get a girlfriend? Get famous on YouTube. That's the only way, as far as I know. Good luck. Now, value yourself. Don't let the opposite sex or the people you're attracted to decide your value. Because they literally, by definition of your story, do not care about you. So, only accept validation from those who do. Why would you say, here's my self-worth, person who hates me. Why the fuck would you do that? And I know it's an emotional thing and it's not, you can't just decide not to. But you really gotta push that logical part of your brain and not do it. You really gotta fucking try. And it might be the hardest thing you ever do to get over that person who you love more than anything, but they just don't fucking want you. You just gotta fucking do something else with your brain. Just focus on anything else, for the love of God. You can't convince somebody to like you. You never, ever will. Ever. They don't fucking want you. Okay. Whew. All right. All right. There's only one way to end this stream. We've all gone through some shit tonight, folks. Lots of depressive moments. Let's do something that'll cheer us all up. The thoughts of death. The thoughts of coming home to a happier place, folks. Can you imagine?
I dedicate this video to Marlene Glish, my grandmother, who was passed in 2008. She had taught me about music when I was younger, and I just dedicate this video to her. I just want to say, Grandma Marlene, I love you, and I can't wait to make it to heaven with you. And the song is about coming to heaven, and I'll see you when I come home. I love you.
Shout out in the comment section.
We have the spirit of life, but this we know, we sometimes feel the devil attacks our life. So we must trust that God protects our life. We are born, then we live, and we die. It's the circle of life. We are free to believe in one God in this nation.
special plan.
We must live, we must love, we must care before we pass. So this I know, where we go after we live and pass. So this I say, as we pray, the time's come, at last I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Before the kingdom's throne, we must know, we are shown that this life is not our own. We must do all we can before this life is over. Before we die, before we pass, we must make love last. I'm coming home. Subscribers. Looks like it has not been verified yet. I'm coming home. Bunny's home. Oh, I don't know what that's. So this I know, where we go after we live and pass. So this I say, as we pray, the time's come, at last I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming ASMR stream ever. That's right. You're goddamn right. I'm coming home. We must cry. We must lie before the kingdom's throne. I'm coming home. We must know. We are shown that this life is not our own. I'm coming home. We must do all we can before this life is over. Before we pass, we must make love last. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. He's a happy man who happens to consume a lethal amount of alcohol each day. I dedicate this video to Marlene Glish, my grandmother, who was passed in 2008. She had taught me about music when I was younger, and I just dedicate this video to her. I just want to say, Grandma Marlene, I love you, and I can't wait to make it to heaven with you. And the song is about coming to heaven, and I'll see you when I come home. I love you.
I love you, Jesus.
Dassey.
We are born, then we live, and we die. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe in one God in this nation. We love God, this we cry. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe that God gave us this life. We are just flesh and blood with the spirit of life. We may not know what life has to really offer, but we know how to live, how to give with our imagination. We love, we care, 'cause our heart is filled with passion. We are born, then we live, and we die. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe in one God in this nation. We love God, this we cry. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe that God gave us this life. We feel pain, we feel joy. We're only human. We like to love, we like to laugh. We have the spirit of life. But this we know, we sometimes feel the devil attacks our life. So we must trust that God protects our life. We are born, then we live, and we die. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe in one God in this nation. We love God, this we cry. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe that God gave us this life. We must do all we can for our battle plan. We must live, we must love, we must care before we pass. So this I know, where we go after we live and pass. So this I say, as we pray, the time's come at last. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. We must cry, we must lie before the kingdom's throne. I'm coming home. We must know, we are shown that this life is not our own. I'm coming home. We must do all we can before this life is over. Before we die, before we pass, we must make love last. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming
Somebody said Brad posted a new video. Let's take a look. Oh shit. Okay. Folks, on Twitter, Brad Dassey, the creator of that song, has been saying For the last decade, he's had an invention idea that will make him millions of dollars. Play fuck women? I don't know about that on Twitch. Brad Dassey just posted 48 seconds ago this invention idea. Folks, this is Brad Dassey's new invention idea. I don't know what it is, but he thinks it's going to make millions. Let's take a look.
Are you sick and tired of having to scrape the snow and ice off your car or truck every winter? Are you sick and tired of having to freeze your tushy off because it takes so much time to scrape? Then listen up. My inventive snow protecting device is just what everyone needs. The product will be manufactured to take effortless time removing snow and ice off your vehicle every time a snowstorm hits. I am 35 years old from Wisconsin with 2 beautiful children and a supportive girlfriend. And if you live in Wisconsin, you know, like us, the winters are completely brutal. I came up with this product idea about 10 years ago because I am sick and tired of having to...
This cannot be a real photo of Brad Dassey, is it? Is that his real hair? Did he shoot... He actually chose this picture? Brad, you're looking great. You look like an older, who's that painter with the happy little trees? You look like an older version of him in a distinguished, manly way. You look great, Brad. I really like this hair.
Scrape and scrape. And to be honest, I never had the energy or faith in making this happen because funding was always an issue. So thanks to funding sites like this, in 2019, I'm going after my goals because I want to make more happen in life. So I'm ready to do what it takes to make dreams come true. And you can be a part of this dream as well. Let's end this evil winter snow and ice scraping war once and for all. Everyone who donates $50 or more to help back my project will receive this product for free. That's right. If this invention takes the world by storm and becomes an actual product and a manufacturer ends up licensing my idea, every donator $50 and above will receive the product for free. If the product is not successful, sorry, you will not receive anything. I believe this product will help millions of people around the globe, and I'm even ready to go door to door for help because I firmly believe and am 100% confident it will go somewhere. You can even help by simply sharing my link. The first process to all of this is research, so I need to raise at least $500 for that. With your help in donating and sharing my link, we can achieve success together. If you would like to see this invention come to life, consider donating now.
What's the fucking product? What? Does he think somebody's gonna steal his idea? Why would I donate to that if I have no idea what the fuck the product is? You just have the idea that it's annoying to scrape off snow and ice. How do I know? What am I giving money to? What the fuck are you talking about? The only comment says I'm coming home. What the fuck is this shit? What? What's the prototype? What's the project? Why? $500 to make a prototype? $500 fee for what? To test it? What the fuck are you talking about? Brad, this is crazy. This is crazy talk. But I'm going to throw in $500 because I got to see this thing. $500 for research. Research what? Brad, you got to give us a little more info before I fork over $50 fucking dollars on this no refund endeavor of yours. All right. He's using your clout for monetary gains. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Lord of the Wings, Sean Ranklin. I got some good subscriptions on this account, baby. Okay. Military has recruited me to scrape ISIS in Syria.
You're the one of whom the ancients say to die for. You're the one that anyone with half a brain would try for. You're the only one who seems to calm me down. And when I think about you inside all the thoughts I drown, I can't sleep, I can't dream, I can't think, I can't seem to get you out my mind. I confess I'm a mess, but you make me inclined to hang on to all the happy thoughts and leave all the bad ones behind. I'm in love with every second that we spend. I'm in love with every single word that you extend. I'm in love with everything you do just to be kind. And I'm in love with everything that's inside of your mind. I'm in love with every single thing that you do. But truth be told, that most of all, I'm just in love with you. And I want you to know that you're the only one that makes this life so beautiful.
We are born, and we live, and we die. It's a circle of life. We are free, free to believe in one God in this nation. We love God, this we cry. It's the circle of life. We are free, free to believe that God gave us this life.
I just wanna be honest, you make my heart run like forest. But the fact that it's impossible just rings like a chorus. Still I must say that if
Patsy, this
by
is how we
any
end
way
every
you find
stream
that
now.
there's a chance, well then I'm first in line. But I know that that's probably not to be. A girl like you would never settle for or choose me. Sadly, if I fight for love, then I am sure to lose. So for now, I'll just pretend it's real and pour out the booze. One shot for holding hands, 2 shots for cuddling, 3 shots for making out, 4 shots for loving, 5 shots to bring you pleasure, 6 shots to be my treasure, 7 shots to fight, then 8 shots to make it better, 9 shots to storm the weather, 10 shots to swear forever. Finally, it feels like I feel like we're together.
We must do all we can for our battle plan. We must live, we must love, we must care before we pass. So this I know, where we go after we live and pass. So this I say, as we pray, the time's come at last. I'm coming.
Can Brad's brother sue? Sue who? The Making a Murderer documentary people? Who the fuck would he sue?
We must lie before the kingdom's throne. We must know, we are shown that this life is not our own. We must do all we can before this life is over. Before we die, before we pass, we must make love last.
It's really Vivo, guys. This is Vivo. They're never sleeping. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, not slub. If you have Amazon Prime, you have no excuse to not sub to Mumkey for free, folks. Look how much effort I'm putting into the stream. Don't I deserve your $2? Thank you for another 2-monther. Nintendo. I could have sworn there were more Brad Dassey remixes on here. Oh well.
Walla 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 walla
Cake Jerry Vivo just told me that his other Brad Dassey Asperger mashup got DMCA'd by Brad Dassey. Brad Dassey legally took down the other song, which is tragic. So we're gonna have to listen to it on Discord. So let's take a listen here.
Yeah, injustice slammed in the face of two innocent people.
I'm a fucking faggot here to rap your fucking dick.
Never mind. Never fucking mind. God fucking damn it. I think it's different when he's calling himself a word. It's not hateful. He's talking about himself. Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Another day has gone. I'm still all alone. How could this be? You're not here with me. You never said goodbye. Someone tell me why. Did you have to go and leave my world so cold? Every day I sit and ask myself, how did love slip away? Something whispers in my ear and says that you are not alone, for I am here with you, and though we're far away, I am here to stay, but you are not alone, for I am here with you, and though we're far apart, you're always in my heart, but you are not alone. Alone, alone. Why alone? Just the other
and hold you in my arms. I can hear your prayers, your burdens I will bear. But first I need your hand, then forever can begin. Every day I sit and ask myself, how did love slip away? Something whispers in my ear and says that you are not alone, for I am here with you. And though you're far away, I am here to stay. For you are not alone, for I am here with you. And though we're far apart, you're always in my heart, for you are not alone. Whisper 3 words and I'll come running by. And girl, you know that I'll be there. I'll be there. You are not alone. I am here with you. And though you're far away, I am here to stay. For you are not alone.
Mumkey found a way to make the video
with you.
wider.
And though far apart, you're always in my heart. You are not alone. I'm here with you. And though you're far away,
Stupid chat brothers.
I am here to stay. But you are not alone, for I am here with you. And though we're far apart, you're always in my heart. But you are not alone.
It's a mysterious ticking noise.
Remember back in 2006 when YouTube was young. We had a lot of good times then. Many parody songs were sung. But now it's been 10 years and I can hardly hold back the tears. What the hell happened to YouTube? It belongs to them. Take your website back. Do it for you, dude. Your freedom of speech is at risk here on YouTube. This place used to be fun, but now everyone is down and glum. We have to rise up and change, or this side is just them too. Yeah, just them too. There is something horribly wrong down at Google. They're blaming algorithm problems on the people. But I shouldn't have to beg and plead for likes and for comments. If the system actually worked, it wouldn't be a problem. Take your website back, do it for you, dude. Your freedom of speech is at risk here on YouTube. This place used to be fun, but now everyone is down and glum. We have to rise up and change, or this site is just them tube. Whoa, just them tube, yeah. Oh, belongs to them. Yeah, gotta take it back. It's crazy what they call a hero here on YouTube. Someone who rats on you to serve their own ends, and they give them points and show them praise, and not the people who may decide what it is in the first place. Rise up and take your website back. Take your website back, do it for you, dude. Your freedom of speech is at risk here on YouTube, yeah. This place used to be fun, but now everyone is down and glum. We have to rise up and change, or this site is just them tube. Yeah, call it them tube. They took you out of it. Gotta take our website back.
I was trying to find something, but I can't remember what it's called. Well, maybe we'll have to cut early then. I don't know why I can't find the channel I'm looking for. There it is. There it is. Thank God. So we all know Rich Alvarez and the stupid Mario Brothers series. But there's a fan-made parody series by this guy Xandar Brow that has been going on for about a decade now. He just posted a new episode 8 hours ago, folks. Let's take a look.
Disclaimer.
Let's take a look. What does the fan version of Stupid Mario Brothers, a decade old, what does that look like?
All characters and events within this series are based on properties owned by Nintendo. These are unofficial parodies. Please support the official release of Nintendo games and Nintendo merchandise. Thank you.
Behold, my friends, Super Mario has returned.
If my memory serves me well, you're not to be trusted.
Well now, If it's trust that you seek, let's see if you're loyal enough to remain alive in my presence.
You won't kill me.
Come again?
If you were going to kill me, you would have done it 1,000 times already.
Your point being?
You need me.
Well, until your friends arrive, you'll be safe in the cellars.
Friends?
You think I'm a fool? I know your friends won't agree with Peach and just wait for a rescue. Just like you. I bet they're going to disobey her and come save you anyway.
It's a fool's hope. They are stronger than you think.
God! Take him away.
Whoa! Luigi's black!
Alright, we're here.
Cool. What's the plan?
If anything, Miles is already in there. I say we go right in and destroy every bit of this place.
Sounds like a plan.
With any luck, Ganon's mine. Let's do this.
Oh! How is Luigi black?
Alright, brother.
Why
what are we
does
gonna
everyone
do now?
have a speech impediment?
I don't know, brother. We've tried everything, and it still won't open. Here, let me try again.
He's using the Force?
See? It must be magic.
Well, we can't just sit here forever.
Luigi?
Yes, Mario?
They probably
What
haven't
happened
even
after the
touched a
war?
girl's
Oh,
hand.
well, after I was captured, that was the last time I saw you. Wario pushed me down a warp pipe after our battle.
Wario?
Who is recording this?
Yes, and after that, it was mostly a blur.
Why are most of the shots, like, cut off at their eyes?
I went looking for you because the warp pipe exploded, and I ended up in this weird vortex.
You were in a water pipe while it exploded?
Yes, and after that I ended up in no man's land.
This is more
After that I
convoluted
had
than
no idea
Kingdom
where
Hearts.
I was. I went searching for answers, but after that I...
What?
I was encountered by a voice.
10 years ago! He was even black back then?
Who is there?
I am here to help you.
With what?
You must travel to Hyrule.
Hyrule?
There, you will find your way back to the Mushroom Kingdom.
That easily?
Yeah.
But why do you want to help me?
Bowser is searching for a superstar.
A superstar? Oh no.
The one who gets the star has the power to close the Dark Realm.
Dark Realm?
Bowser.
The girl has kind of a sexy
Whoever
voice
finds
at
it
least, but I
first,
imagine
will be
that's where the
forever
sexiness
in your
ends.
bed.
I can't let Bowser gain more power.
And then I left for Hyrule.
That voice. Did it give you a name?
Yes. She called herself Seiya.
Huh. I've heard of that name before, but only in books and legends.
What is it?
A being, formed in the Dark Realm. She takes the forms of her hosts and drains their power.
You think she wanted to drain Bowser's power to hell?
Who fucking
Maybe,
filmed this
But I
shit?
still wouldn't trust her.
Whoa! Oh! Is that Rich Alvarez himself? They got the man? Oh, no, not quite.
Link?
Decent lightsaber effect.
Explain
Wait,
why
that's
you're trying to
him?
gain entry
That's
into my castle.
Mario! In blackface!
Finally found you.
Found me?
That's dangerously close to blackface.
Mick? Doesn't ring any bells.
You don't even remember him, you dick.
Well, you see, a toad here, a toad there, a handful of prisoners. With the amount of people I kill, why should I remember?
Well, then allow me to remind you.
That does look like you,
As
Rich.
you wish.
Is that supposed to be Solid Snake? Blocked a bullet with the lightsaber.
Yes. Link!
Miles!
Oh, I got my memory back, by the way.
Miles?
Wait, really? That's amazing!
Oh, I'm Mario, and this is my brother, Luigi.
Your brother from a vision. Wait. Mario.
Link?
Super Mario and Luigi! That's it! I knew I recognized you!
Apparently, I'm a big deal.
No kidding, you basically stopped the war from continuing.
Yeah.
I thought you were dead.
So did I.
Peach will be so happy to know it's you.
Last I remember, she doesn't remember me.
You're kidding. She has memory loss as well?
Everybody has fucking memory loss?
Peach doesn't remember now? Great, and I just got rescued.
Well, we can play catch up later. We gotta get out of here.
Hey, where is Neil?
We must have gotten separated when we charged in here.
Yeah, how did you get past Ganon's forces?
What, you think it was easy? Let's go.
Just kill him! Are you fucking kidding me? Come on, you rich! What? No! Aw, okay. Well, I have to find out what happens next. Okay. That's too bad. Okay, everybody. Well, tonight was the Depression Chamber. We read about half a dozen depression stories. That video was the most depressing thing, I think, of the night. We're not going to top it, so we have to end it here. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who stuck around for 2.5 hours, Kirakana, thank you for the 100 bits. If you want to see all my latest videos and projects, go to mumkeyjones.com. If you want to listen to my main podcast, Boomer vs. Zoomer, you can go to boomerversuszoomer.com. We should have a new episode dropping probably tomorrow. We just recorded it the other day. And of course, if you want to support the work I do, you can go to patreon.com/mumkey. And that's it. That's about it. A bunch of these links are down below the stream. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I appreciate the support from everybody who helps out. And we will come back with another stream, probably a Mumkey's mailbag or something fun. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I don't know. I'm going to get hard at work on the next Monkey Box video. Really should have had that out by now, but I'm going to put in hard work and get that done ASAP. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll see you later. It's dinner time, baby. Goodbye.